Okay, we'll begin our special meeting. Good evening. Welcome to the Waterbury Board of Education special meeting. We'll begin with an opening prayer. Superintendent, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Commissioner Harvey? Here. Commissioner Hernandez? Commissioner Pagano? Vice President Rodriguez?
Here.
Commissioner Stango?
Here.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Here.
Commissioner Theriault?
Here.
Commissioner Jason Van Stone?
Present.
Commissioner Tom Van Stone?
Present.
President Brown?
Here. Commissioner Stango.
Item number 1 on the agenda, Committee on School Personnel. 1.1, request approval of the job specifications for and new position of school readiness liaison with salary revisions as noted.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. Can you clarify what the revision was again in terms of the salary range, please?
75, 80.
I believe it was 75 to 85.
Is that the case, Charles?
Yeah, you wrote that down.
That was the revision from coming out of workshop.
All right. So I'm struggling a little bit with that salary range in terms of this particular position, this particular candidate that we attempt to identify is going to be responsible for overseeing over 1,300 kids, 20 different sites, and while I respect some of my commissioners who talked about the salary piece, I tend to believe that offering a more competitive salary would definitely bring in someone with higher caliber skill sets and someone who could possibly manage it. I mean, this person is going to take over more than a principal, and yet we're looking at a lower salary. Is there a potential to bring this up to 75 to 90,000?
Are you making a motion?
I would like to make a motion.
Second.
Discussion.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
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 Take a roll call vote, please.
It passed 5-3. Theriault, Van Stone, and Van Stone, and noes.
Thank you very much. No roll call vote. Didn't pass.
No,
I mean,
let's
it passed.
let's have a
Passed.
roll call vote
Roll
anyways,
call
just for
vote.
the
So
record.
just say the motion again. A motion to amend the salary
Amend the
range.
salary for the school readiness liaison position from 75 to 85 to 75 to 90.
Okay, all right.
I seconded.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey?
Yes.
Vice President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Stango?
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Yes.
Commissioner Theriault?
No.
Commissioner Jason Van Stone?
Still no.
Commissioner Tom Van Stone?
No.
President Brown?
Yes,
5-3, motion to amend passes.
thank you very
Thank you.
much. Now we'll go to the amended motion. All in favor?
No.
Discussion?
Aye.
No discussion.
Discussion. Commissioner Theriault.
Yeah, I think the superintendent gave a very strong argument with regard to an explanation of the duties and responsibilities. And, you know, when I see some of the jobs that we created with regard to the Enlightenment School, upgrading that job to a high school principalship, whether you agree or disagree, a tremendous increase in terms of salaries. I'm not sure what our high school principals make now. What is the salary range for our high school principals?
You don't know that, the range?
Well, it's certainly over 100,000.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Reaches up into the 130s.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I mean, if I were a proponent of this increase, I would use that as a basis for my foundation. But as I spoke before, with regard to the 35% increase in the salary range. Now we're going to go from 75 to 85, which would be about 15,000. So about maybe a 20% increase or so. My other comments were regard to every time we have a crisis, we get a new job description, and then we increase the pay for the particular job. I don't want to create a precedent of establishing a $100,000 figure every time we create a new position, whether it be administrative or so forth. When this job first was initiated, if I remember correctly, it was more of a coordinator's job, not really a bona fide principal's job. So I understand the philosophy of 1,000 kids being spread out through the school, but this person doesn't have one school where there's 1,000 kids. They may be responsible for the overall program and writing the grant, which would further substantiate maybe a possible increase. Because I don't think the coordinator in the past wrote the grant, or maybe they did. But I'm comfortable with the salary range being what it is. I can appreciate the added job responsibilities, and I could appreciate an argument if someone presented it for an increase later on, if they could really substantiate that, other than the 1,300 kids spread out throughout the system. And as I reiterated before, I realized the importance of this program and the importance of preschool and readiness. Actually, I think preschool and the readiness program should be mandatory throughout all of the state, not just Waterbury. And you know, we have trouble enough getting some of our kindergartners into kindergarten because in the past, I don't know about now, is kindergarten mandatory now?
Yes, well, we have mandatory,
No.
but not by statute.
So, not by statute. So we can get some kids out there that don't even attend kindergarten.
Right.
And they're coming into the first grade with no pre-K,
Still
no
7 years
kindergarten.
old.
And as far as I'm concerned, they get into first grade without kindergarten, without pre-K. They're behind the 8 ball educationally. And I think every kid, and I've said this before, all 19,000 of our kids deserves the opportunity to succeed. And once again, congratulations to Mr. Schwartz and the superintendent for an increase in the Smarter Balance test scores. We're moving in the right direction. I'm one of the board members that's especially critical of that. And as long as I'm on my bouquet and my float throwing flowers and wands all over the place, you know, I'm going to give credit to you, superintendent, and your cadre for an increase in the test scores. I know we have a long way to go, but, you know, it's nice to be moving in the right direction and not slipping backward downhill. So, but those are some of my reasons with regard to the $75,000 to $90,000 range, and I'm open to compromise and discussion from other board members. Thank you.
Commissioner Stango.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have a question.
Is your hand up?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're okay?
I wasn't
I
sure
just
she
have a
was
question.
scratching her head or her hands.
Regarding the process of the hiring process. This is a grant job,
Correct.
Superintendent? What's the process for
Mr.
hiring
Schwartz.
this?
The process would be to use the School Readiness Council. They have an executive committee. We would use the School Readiness Council executive committee to make a recommendation.
Does the board approve the position,
The board will approve the position,
Yes.
yes.
the appointment?
Correct.
Yes.
The appointment.
So it's a school readiness council that interviews the candidate?
Yes.
Okay. The board has nothing to do with that interview process?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you. President Brown, if I may read the formal resolution before we vote.
I think Commissioner Sweeney wanted to speak, and then you can.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay,
Van Stone?
and Mr. Van Stone, okay, Commissioner Van Stone, I think, did I say you next? I forget.
Yep.
Whoever.
No, go ahead.
Commissioner Sweeney, go ahead.
I just, You know, when I compare, and we do have both the draft of the new position, and we have the existing position, and in reality, there is much more robust, much more qualifications, much more expectations in the new statement of duties. Yeah, a crisis led us here, but we need to be listening to the crisis. The crisis tells us that we're doing something wrong. Okay, and we have chosen to address this by looking at the qualifications for this position and what that person is expected to do and how we will oversee that and how we will measure that. You know, I rock a little on this idea of we're coming in at the 75,000, which is, you know, where the grant says this is our cap. However, we do have available funds from another grant that address the same type of issues, the early childhood issues, and the funds aren't being used now because they can't fill the position. So what better way to make sure that we fill the position with somebody of a quality caliber than by combining the two grant sources? So I can see that working. Do we want to go out there and say, you know, say to somebody, offer the first candidate that we interview $90,000? No, I think we don't. I think we negotiate. But I will agree that someone who can at least see that they come in at 75,000 and have some expectation that if they do their job well, that at some point in time they're going to be looking at $85,000, $90,000. Then I think you increase the caliber of candidates that you may draw. So I'm willing to give this a try, see how it plays out, and hopefully this will forego us ever having to go through another crisis of the type that brought us here in the first place.
Thank you. Commissioner Vanstone.
Thank you, Madam President, through you. I just want to congratulate the board. This is one of the few times I remember in this is my third term that we've actually looked like we're going to spend less money on a position than we thought going into the meeting. So it's not the exact number I'd hoped, but you know, I think that's good. I think sometimes, you know, this board gets knocked fairly or unfairly for spending money like water, and I think today the 8 of us that were here, you know, saw we didn't necessarily need to throw every bit of dollars at someone. So congratulations for that. And I'd also, I guess I would offer Commissioner Sweeney a gentleman's wager, maybe of dinner, that I imagine once we hire someone here, it's probably going to be closer to that 90 grand than the 75 if she wants to accept that bet.
Say that again.
Oh, she wasn't listening. We'll finish the details after the meeting.
Here on this side.
Thank you, Madam President.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay. Commissioner Stango.
Okay, the resolution again. Ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee on School Personnel, the Superintendent of Schools recommends approval of the job specifications for and new position of School Readiness Liaison. Said position replaces the former position of School Readiness and Child Daycare Grant Program Coordinator. Respectfully submitted and so moved.
Second.
Need to.
It was already
Yeah,
done.
that's
I
right.
just did this
Oh, you just, oh,
formality.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Thank you. Oh, a couple of noes. Raise your hands.
Roll call vote, please.
Okay.
Commissioner Harvey?
No.
Vice President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Stango?
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Yes.
Commissioner Theriault?
Yes.
Commissioner Jason Van Stone?
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Van Stone?
Yes.
President Brown?
Yes.
7-1, motion passes.
Thank you all very much. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Just a
Oh, go ahead.
Just a point of clarification. In this particular job title, when we were doing the job description and so forth, Why did we retain the name coordinator? Why didn't we
It's-
upgrade that title and status?
I believe it's because that's what it is in state statute.
That's what is in state statute.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Correct, Erin?
Yes.
Okay. Well, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you all. I hope it doesn't snow tonight.